All right, everyone. Hey, good morning. Um, Sorry, I'm going to be out today. My daughter is not feeling well, but I just wanted to review a couple of things. I think she's complaining about her throat, so I think she's got like strep throat or something. Anyway, so first thing you should do is go into Google Classroom. You have a couple of things to do today. One of them is a Socratic seminar reflection. The other one is I'm going to do that now. This is that video. And then we're going to talk a little bit about a letter. So first thing, just to talk a little bit about how Socratic Seminar went and to review kind of the whole idea behind Socratic Seminar. So the main idea is for people to listen and share and build on each other's ideas, to provide or to even find like a deeper understanding of the of whatever you're discussing. So it's not necessarily just random questions, like multiple questions. You kind of have to want to dig a little deeper and don't rush so much. And a couple of things, in order for it to work, you have to listen to the ideas of others, process them in your head, like really pay attention to the idea, kind of take it in and reflect on it, and also build on other people's ideas. So one of the key things is listening. During a couple of the Socratic seminar, it seemed like multiple people were talking at the same time, and obviously, if multiple people are talking, you can't really listen to one person's ideas. Another thing, make it relevant, connected to your life, connected to the real world. A couple of students did this, talking about the poor, the struggle between the poor and the rich. They related it to Cesar Chavez and his fight. That's the whole point kind of this thing too, it's not just this random article, but try to relate it to your own life. What can you learn from it? And then this, I think, is an important one too. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. So when somebody asks a question, like everybody in the group should kind of think about it and answer it their own way, but not just move on from question to question to question to question. Kind of think about a question and then everybody reflect on it and comment about it rather than jumping from question to question. Go kind of deeper into it. And your comments, they should be relevant, insightful, and meaningful. So if you're talking, make sure that you have something to say. Think about how to respond to people's questions and make your comment meaningful. And something we'll work on next week, using evidence to back up your ideas. We haven't really discussed this very much, but I think this is an important next step where you refer to the article, this was partially my fault because we didn't number the paragraphs, but using the article to back up your ideas is the best thing you could do. And then, I think we talked about this. So sometimes topics kind of jumped around. Don't be so quick to change the topic. Kind of stay with one thing and go a little deeper into the discussion. All right, so that's what I wanted to say about Socratic Seminar. The next thing you should work on, you should have your Socratic Seminar reflection done. talk a little bit about this Socratic seminar. Next thing we're going to do is talk about this letter. So everybody on Google Classroom, you should have a copy of this document attached to your assignment. So up here, this is where your name goes. You don't have to put your address. We could just use the school address. We are actually writing this letter to Governor Scott Walker. Yesterday we talked about it. We were going to write it to our state representative, Scott Allen, but I didn't realize this, but they already voted to pass the bill. So I think Governor Walker would be our next choice. But I will attach this example. I will attach my own example, but your letter should start something like this. Dear Governor Walker, your first paragraph should introduce yourself, talk about who you are, maybe your family life, how long you've been here. Try to make it relatable to yourself. Your second paragraph, how do you feel about this bill that's passing? Express your thoughts, express your opinions. And then third paragraph, explain why it should not pass. How would it affect you? How would it affect your life, your family? And then end it sincerely, your name. This isn't necessarily part of what you should do, but so this is the letter you should be working on. It will be due next week, Tuesday. You'll have the majority of the class time today to work on it. Obviously, this is important. Take it serious. And I think when you start writing it right now, like today, maybe just write, kind of like a free write where you don't stop writing. Don't worry about spelling. Don't worry about grammar. We'll get to that on Monday. But today, just trying to get your ideas out. This is my example. And I'll attach it to Google Classroom so you could see it. But here you have my name, the address of the school. This is the person that it's going to, Scott Walker, Governor of Wisconsin. This is his address where he accepts mail. So it goes, my letter starts like this. Dear Governor Walker, I am a teacher at Butler Middle School and a former undocumented Mexican immigrant. My family has a long history of migrating to the United States for work. My grandfather began coming to the U.S. during World War II for the Bracero program. Pause. If you don't know what the Bracero program is, during World War II, the U.S. government started this program to bring workers from Mexico because a lot of the men were fighting in war, so they didn't have enough workers. So in reality, it was the U.S. government that started the whole migration pattern of Mexican immigrants coming into the U.S. to work. Anyway, he was one of the millions of workers who would make the trip to find work, to support their families, and at the same time provide service for their country. It was this early migration that started a yearly trip for my grandfather, who ended up bringing his children to also work in the fields. My father made several trips to the U.S. to help support my grandparents and get ahead in life. My father made several trips back and forth from the U.S. to Mexico, but finally settled in Wisconsin. He worked and earned enough to finance a trip for my mother and I, who still lived in Mexico. My father, who was in the U.S. for most of his early, my father was in the U.S. for most of my early life. My entire family was undocumented at one point. It was not until President Reagan and Congress passed amnesty that my family and I were able to apply for permanent residency. It was this law that, although was passed very early in my life, would change the projection of my future. Without this law, I would still be undocumented. I would have not been able to attend college, let alone become a teacher. It is this reason that I believe that Bill 450 would be detrimental to our wonderful state of Wisconsin. I feel so. Then in the next paragraph, I'm going to talk about how I think this bill would affect our state. And then the last paragraph, I'm going to explain why it should not pass. These are kind of related, honestly, the more I think about it. But if you want to just make it 2 paragraphs, that's fine. So the first one should be an introduction about who you are. The next one should be how you feel about this bill and explaining why it should not pass. So again, this will be due on Tuesday. Take it serious. I do want to send them to Mr. Walker, Mr. Governor Walker. But anyway, I hope you guys have a productive day. Take advantage of the time, please. I'll be checking up on you too, because I could check from here. Big brother is watching. All right. Have a good weekend, guys. I'll see you on Monday. Adios.